Yes. So, what is your opinion on the season for the Offaly footballers?
So we started off with the O'Byrne Cup, and it was a very positive campaign way back in December and January, and we got to the final of that. We went unbeaten the whole way to the final. We bet Laois, Louth, Wexford, and we got into the semi-final against Westmeath. And then we took on one of our big rivals, Longford, in the final. And I think we lost by 2 points in the end, but it was a pretty good game. What was funny about the game was we were meeting each other 2 weeks later in the league. So I guess kind of both teams were sort of trying to bluff one another. We were both hiding tactics and things like that. And that took us forward then into the league, where we had a big game. The opening game was against Cork down in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. And we actually got off to a fantastic start in that game. At half time, Offaly were leading 10 points to 8, and we were really playing well. And I suppose then in the second half, the full time score I think was 20 points to 13 maybe. The second half of that game, Cork's conditioning really proved vital. You could see that they were probably a Super A team. They brought on some fantastic players like Michael Hurley and Colin O'Callaghan, who were serious there at the weekend, even against Kerry. But yeah, that was it. We played Longford then, as I said, next was a draw match in Tullamore. It was a serious game. So both teams, I think, were happy to get the draw out of that. That brought us on then to Louth, which was a serious battle up in the Gaelic grounds up there. We just came out with a win on a really, really ferocious cold and wet day. I can remember both sets of players were absolutely freezing. Louth were unlucky not to win, maybe. We got out of jail and we just hung on. We built up a big lead in the first half, and then Louth came back, all guns blazing in the second half. Some of their players really stepped up. Decky Byrne, Ryan Burns, and these guys. Your man Sam, the full forward. I'm not sure what his name is.
Oh, Sam O'Roy.
Yeah, he's a really good player. He's
Yeah.
boot on. And then the following weekend we played Leitrim, got a win there as well. So we had 5 points on the board at this stage. We were really looking like driving for promotion. Bet Leitrim easily enough. There's no point saying otherwise. 7 or 8 points down there in Park Sean McDermott. We were delighted, and we had a massive game then the following week, I think it was, or 2 weeks later, against Down. So this was just on the verge of COVID coming in, and it was in Tullamore. We were really confident going into that game that we were going to take 2 points, and we just had a bit of a meltdown on the day. You know, we had a game plan, but Down were so strong. The running game was so strong. Their conditioning levels, anytime they got up the field, they took their chances really well, and we struggled. I think we lost by 4 or 5 in the end, but like that seems close. It felt like it could have been really 10 points. They were just that much ahead of us. We could not break them down. And then what was funny, then the break came for whatever it was, 7 months really, till we met again. We went regrouped, went back training. We knew we had 2 big games left in the league, Tipperary and Derry. I felt like we kind of knew at that stage ourselves, maybe promotion was just gone out of our hands. It really looked like Cork and Down were going to go up, which they did, but we still wanted to win the last 2 games. We were a bit unlucky against Tipperary. As such, what happened was we got a few injuries to a few key players. Myself, my appendix burst, so I actually missed the whole league campaign and championship, which I was so disappointed after playing all the games for the last 2 or 3 years. I was really disappointed. I was really looking forward to this go games. Keane Johnson, who's well known as he was last year's senior Offaly footballer of the year, he got picked up an injury as well. Chili Donnelly, Shane Horn, Kilmacud Crokes, man, he picked up a knee injury. So we were in a small county, as you know yourself, like if you lose 3 or 4 key players, we're not like a Dublin, we're not like a Tyrone or a Kerry. We don't have maybe that depth to come in that's replacing them. So that had a big bearing on the last 2 league games against. We were so unlucky against Tip, actually. We only lost by a point maybe in the last few minutes. Mickey Quinlivan and Connor Sweeney and these guys stepped up for them and got them over the line. Then we played Derry last game of the league, very similar to the down game. Both styles very defensive. We couldn't deal again with the running game. We had we were down a big deficit at half time by 7 or 8 points. And it was just trying to claw back. I think the boys got it to within a point or two. They really fought hard, but we were just that bit short. Then it was week to week, rolled into championship then against a Carlow team with a new management. Jar Brennan as their coach, these guys had a feel-good factor about them, It was a banana skin of a game. The Offaly lads just delighted to get a win. It was our first championship win in 5 years. The last time they won a championship game was 2015 against Longford. So the boys were just delighted to get over the line, and that Carlow went away from maybe their defensive style of play that you would have seen the last few years with Turlock O'Brien and Stephen Poacher. Now the Jar Brennan over them, they were a far more attacking side. It actually suited them. They hit 20 points against Offaly, which is a positive for them, but obviously our lads, we hit them for 315 or 16, I think, on the day. We were delighted to get over the line. It was a dogfight, and the lads really just stuck to their guns and got by. Brought us into the Kildare game then, and look, I'm not a believer in moral victories. The whole camp was disappointed to lose Kildare. We should have bet Kildare. I have no problem saying that. We had 2 goal chances there, as clear as day. Keane Farrell and Bernard Allen, 2 serious forwards. The boys just missed them goal chances. I don't blame them at all. But Kildare never cut Offaly open for a goal chance once, and we did to them 2 or 3 times. We were disappointed to lose that game. It ended 20 points to 16. That wasn't even a fair reflection. It was only a point game day. In fairness, Neil Flynn came in and he rattled over a couple of scores. But I feel that was a game there Offaly had for the taking. And no more than maybe last summer, which is funny, against Meath as well. Offaly should have took them out. Or even at the league game, like I said to you at the start of the year against Cork, we were missing Niall McNamee and Johnny Maloney that night, 2 of Offaly's most experienced and best players. We're just looking for that big giant kill maybe to take out a big side, yourself. We've came close, but that's Offaly's season in a nutshell. Was it a good season? Yeah. We're growing under John Maughan. We have a specific style of play. We want to play open attacking football. We've been injury struck all year. At the start of the year, Keane Farrell, who was on the Sigerson team of the year with Carlow IT, he was even missing for us. So all year we've been missing. There's always been a couple of players missing who are key to us. And maybe next season we're nearly there again. If we can just have our full panel for the whole season, we can really push for promotion and maybe get that big giant kill we're looking for. Offaly football's positive at the minute with John Maughan at the helm. So that it's been a good season. It's a pity we didn't get the bit of silverware with the O'Byrne Cup and maybe promotion. But look, we're winning games. We're competitive in every single game. And it's just about getting them, as I said, moral victories over the line so we can make them proper victories.
Yeah. Now, other than yourself, who would you say has been the best footballer for Offaly this season?
Look, other than myself, that's a good one. But look, Johnny Maloney has been a serious footballer for Offaly down the years. And this year again, he stands up to be a real leader. One of my good friends, Owen Carroll, is a serious footballer. So he is again for Offaly. He's found himself a new position. He's been an out-and-out midfielder for Offaly since he's been 18. And John Martin's decided to move him to wing back, and it's actually really suited him. He has a bit more, it seems like a freedom role. He's covering all over the pitch. Now, I know you could say that about midfield, but wing back seems to suit him. He's popping up in these pockets and kicking scores and stuff, and he's nearly in a playmaker role. So Johnny Maloney, Owen Carroll, when you look up the other end of the field, the evergreen Niall McNamee, still, he's a Rolls Royce of a player. He'd get into any county team. And other forwards, then key players, Anton Sullivan. He's been Rhodes' key man the last few years, and the pace he's bringing to Offaly's game, he's kicking you 2 or 3 from play from wing forward. He's getting up and down, defending, working hard. And then I'd have to give credit where it's due the other night. He hasn't been maybe Offaly's best player this season because he's been injured, but Keane Farrell really found a fire burst the other night. He'll be the first to admit it, and I've no problem saying it to you. He struggled in the league games, but he really found form when he came on as a sub against Carlow, and then he got a start against Kildare the other night. He kicked 7 points, 3 frees, I think, 4 from play. A couple of them actually were even 45s he kicked. He nearly had a great goal chance. The young fella's only 20 or 21 years of age. He's going to have a serious future for Offaly. But yeah, them boys have been really the key players. Niall Darby, our captain, always stands up on the big day. But yeah, if I had to pick one or two, I think Johnny Maloney and Owen Carroll have been, and Niall Mack have been Offaly's key players, and Anton. Sorry, I have to go with 4. The boys have had a great season. Yeah.
Is there any young up and coming footballers you feel really made their mark with the Offaly team this year, and we're going to be a mainstay in the team for next 5-6 years or however long they'll be?
Absolutely. Look, I'll give you the lowdown. The Offaly panel is actually quite young. There's a few of us that played in the under-21 Leinster final against Dublin in 2017. There's Paddy Donegan, our keeper, serious goalkeeper. He is going to be one of the best keepers around now, and he can come up and kick frees off the ground. His kickouts are as good as any of the top goalkeepers around. He's only 23 years of age. You have Cathal Mangan midfield there, 23 years of age. Rory McNamee, everyone knows who he is, centre forward, 23 years of age. But if you want to go a bit younger, Keane Farrell, Keane Johnson, they're known as the 2 Keanes. Them boys are serious corner forwards. They're going to come good. Keane Johnson's been unlucky with injury for the season. Keane Farrell had a serious injury at the start of the year. He's just back now. And then if you even look to our bench, there's younger guys again there that are still under 20. Jack Bryant, he's going to be a really, really effective player for Offaly and have a great future. He's a Shamrocks man. He had a great club season. He's only 19 or 20, so he's going to grow. He needs to get a bit of gym work done, knows that himself. His other under 20 teammate, these guys are under 20 again now next season. Cathal Donoghue, really good player, midfielder, big engine. He's going to have a serious future for Offaly. A young fellow came on the other night, Rory Egan. He's a good lad. He's only 20 or 21, plays wing back. I think he was on the AFL combine there up in Dublin. So he's an athlete. He's going to be really good going forward. And then a fellow parish clubmate of mine, Bill Carroll, he's a young fellow, Owen Carroll's younger brother, who's on the Offaly team. Bill is 21. He's a big guy. He's lean and he's athletic, and he is going to be a very good midfielder for Offaly in the next few years. He's a really good footballer as well. He kind of has a mixture of everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing how all them young fellas do progress, and hopefully they can replace the likes of Niall Mack and these guys when they do have to move on, because I suppose they can't keep holding the flag forever for us. We're lucky to have them, but we know nothing. It can't last forever. So I hope these lads will step up, and I think they will.
Yeah. So do you think that this season is a missed opportunity for the Offaly footballers, considering you were on the side to get to a Leinster final, because you were on the side of the draw that avoided, Dublin?
Absolutely. Look, as I said, we had Carlow on the opening round. We knew inside our 4 walls we were going to go there and or wherever it was the game and get a win, and which we did, and we believed that all season, and we knew then that we were going to have a challenge against Kildare. They have been maybe the second or third best team in Leinster consistently the last few years. They've went up and down from Division 2. They have some great players like Daniel Flynn, even the new young guy up front, Dara Corwin, then their midfield, then Aaron Masterson, and even some of the other younger players, Jimmy Hyland and these guys, they have really good players. Kevin Feely, obviously another name. Did we see it as a missed opportunity? Absolutely. We knew we had the players there to beat them. I fully believe if we had a full panel, we would have took Kildare out the other night. We were unlucky with the goal chances. And then even if you look forward, if it was us this weekend, I wish it was, it's not, we would have been playing Meath. And like I said to you, we had the upper hand on them up in Park Tolchin last summer. We should have put them away. So yeah, was it a missed opportunity to go the whole way to a Leinster final? Absolutely. We're disappointed. We don't believe in moral victories here in Offaly. We'll go back in January, regroup and reassess. We won't be saying, geez, we're delighted that we ran Kildare close. We don't think like that. they were there for the killing. And no more than Meath last summer there for the killing. It's a bit of a thing. We need to get that killer instinct into our game, strengthen our mentality, fix up a few things in our game management, and we will take out these Division 2 teams who might believe they're ahead of us, but and realistically, and they're not. Like,
Yeah. Do you think those missed chances probably killed off the momentum for you during the game?
yeah, absolutely. Now, like when we missed them chances, I think for Keane Farrell's one in the opening half, I'm pretty sure Niall Mack actually dived on that the save that Mark Donlan pulled off. Niall McNamee in the 6-yard box, I think, got a hand out to it, came back to Keane Farrell. I think we won a free and we kicked it over, so we got something out of it. But like you said, does it kill momentum? Probably. If you get a chance like that, it's vital you finish them, because it was 3 points to us. It would have put us 3 or 4 clear of them, and you never know, maybe the pressure would come on, they'd panic, we could press them. And then the same Bernard Allen's chance in the second half, he took one the weekend before against Carlos, so he was just unlucky. I don't blame them boys at all, even to have the nerve to step up there and tempt them goal chances. I think Bernard's one was saved and they went down and got a point or two at the other end. So yeah, it was a kind of a momentum swinger, yourself.
Yeah. Do you think it might have benefited Kildare that they had that week off in between the league and the championship while you had to go out and play Carlow?
Look, it's a conundrum every county kind of faces. I hear people even referring to the Mayo, saying Mayo are playing week on week and Galway have had a break. It's kind of hard to say. Look, we had a championship game. Maybe Kildare would say that was a positive for Offaly being able to have a championship game coming in. I know the boys went to the well against Carlow to make sure we got a win, and it could have fatigued the boys maybe going into the last 10 minutes. Now, look, in fairness to John Maughan and our management team and our strength and conditioning team, we would have recovered very well all week and we would have been ready. So I'm not going to say, I'm not going to use that as an excuse that we were tired. I think maybe we had the bonus having that championship game. It had us warmed up and ready to go, and we were at that level straight away. That's why we weren't slow coming out of the traps against Kildare. We were right there and right at that pace with them.
Yeah. What is the ambition for 2021 for the Offaly footballers?
I think, look, the ambition is definitely going to be to win Division 3 or get promotion at least. And then, look, anything after that's a bonus. I think that's where we're going to put all our eggs in that one basket. We have the same management team the past 2 years. I expect John Martin to stay on and do a third year. So we've been looking for promotion. There's no point saying otherwise. So year 3, we hope to try and get that promotion. And then we look at championship. As you said, look, if you want to be realistic about it, if you don't draw Dublin, if you take Dublin out at Leinster Championship, the funny thing is it's a very good championship.
Yeah.
Anyone can beat anyone on any given day. Like I said here, we don't fear Meath or Kildare, and that's the same with any of the other counties. I know the Westmeath lads, a lot of them personally, they're a great side too. We've had right battles with Westmeath, Laois, Louth, all these teams down the years. If you take Dublin out with Leinster, it's a good championship. So if any of the counties, if for any of them they don't meet Dublin in the opening round, you can have a right crack at Leinster. So for Offaly, what's the objective for 2021? Hopefully gain a promotion and then maybe go on a run in Leinster and like that take out a rival, be it a Westmeath or a Laois in the Midlands or wherever, a Longford, a Louth, Meath, whoever it is then, and go on a run in Leinster and see where it takes us. For us as players, we have no interest in playing Tier 2 football in Offaly, and that's not a snobbery or condescending. I think every team should be playing for Sam Maguire, and that's where we'll want to be. We've no interest. Well, for me personally, I don't believe in playing B football, or I don't see myself as being a B championship player. I want to be playing in the top tier against the best counties. That's how you improve as a player. You learn from other counties and other players that you mark. So hopefully then we get a run in Leinster, or be it the qualifiers or whatever it is.
Yeah. Um, so now we're going to move on to the Munster final, and you have experience of playing Cork and Tip in the league, and you've had overbows on. So, who are you backing between the two teams to go and lift the Munster Championship?
Look, I actually think this is going to be a great game. I think people are going to say Cork are the odds-on favourites, but Tip and Cork have a serious rivalry the last few years.
Mm.
Even in the league this year, that was a very close game down in Thurles. It was a high-scoring game. Tip will have no fear of Cork. They have Colin O'Riordan back from the Sydney Swans, who everyone knows who this guy is. He's going to be good playing, and he's going to be very good, I can assure you that. But even if you look at some of Tip's players, their forward line, Michael Quinlivan and Connor Sweeney, are as good as any forwards in the country. I think everyone saw Connor Sweeney's video of kicking that point against Limerick off the outside of his boot. And then they have players like Brian Fox coming in off the bench. He's been around a long time. Their midfield, Stephen O'Brien, Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy's my age. I had to mark him all the years growing up at minor and under 21 level. He's a serious footballer. And then some of their backs are very strong as well. Robbie Kiley and Jimmy Featon, even their full back. So Tip have a really backbone by a strong team. I think their manager knows what he's doing. He's trying to make them out. Their problem is they're probably a little bit inconsistent. If they turn up, they're very good. Maybe like last weekend, they didn't turn up that well against Limerick. They nearly got caught in the hop. But like when I watched them against Offaly, I found them very, very good, very efficient in front of goal. They didn't kick too many wides that day. And then if you look on the other side of things with Cork, look, they have some fantastic individuals. I look watching them against Kerry. I found their setup, the way they set up was very good. They did not allow Kerry to play it. People are talking about how bad or how Kerry didn't show up. No, that wasn't it. Cork really didn't allow them to play it. If you look at the statistics on it, breaking ball and things, Cork absolutely wiped them out. They were so hungry for breaks or anything that spilled around the middle. And they outscored Kerry at vital times too. And the second quarter in particular, just before half time, I think Kerry were leading by 2 or 3. Cork got 3 on the bounce, and then in the final quarter also to level that game, Cork showed their class. They have some fantastic players when they're bringing on the likes of, as I said, Lou Conley and Michael Hurley and Colin O'Callaghan. These guys, they're serious. Paul Kerrigan, he won in All Ireland in 2010 against Down. He's a serious footballer. And then some of the guys that they already had on the pitch, Michael Hurley's brother Brian Hurley, everyone knows of him. Big Ian Maguire in the middle of the park, Sean Powter even in the back. So, look, I'm really looking forward to a good game. I think if the weather conditions are right, I think it could be a little bit of a shootout between both sides. I'm going to go a Cork win. I do firmly believe they're on the right path. They're not a Division 3 team at all. And I think just given the bit of experience maybe they had last year in the Super 8s and that, I think they can go on and make an All-Ireland semi-final. They have some of them forwards that they have are so talented. Even your man Mark Keane there, who came back from the AFL and got that goal last weekend. He didn't have a particularly good game, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on if he gets on a bit earlier. I expect Lou Connolly to start this weekend. What a fantastic player. He can kick off the ground. He's very good in general play. So I'm just going to go with maybe Cork by 3 or 4. I think it'll be close. It's in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. They have some kind of an agreement that they're at home and away sort of thing. I do find it a bit unfair. I would have liked to seen it maybe down in Killarney or in the Gaelic grounds. That's a bit of a daunting task, having to go down there. Cork's tails will be up after winning in Páirc Uí Chaoimh against a really good Kerry side. So look, I'm going to go with Cork 4 points.
Yep. Now, who do you think is going to be the biggest difference maker for the Cork team in that game?
Who's the biggest? Sorry, say that again.
Who's going to make the biggest difference for Cork, do you think, on the game?
I think Ian Maguire in midfield is as good a midfielder as I've seen. He actually plays like Fenton. He can catch ball in the middle. He can drive down the middle of teams. He can score. He sets up things. I think him, and then the biggest one, I think if Brian Hurley hits form, in that full forward line, which he will, and Mark Collins, them two guys inside, I think Tipperary's full back line could struggle for their pace, particularly Hurley. Mark Collins had a great game last weekend against Kerry. He's scoring, he's a very accurate player. I think that trio of Maguire in the middle, Hurley and Collins inside, I think that is going to be the difference in that game that'll swing the tide.
Yeah. Now, do you think maybe the home advantage is going to make... No. Which one of the Tipperary players do you think is going to be the biggest difference maker for them to probably run Cork close?
I think, look, it's hard to turn a blind eye to the two boys, 11 and 14, Michael Quinlivan and Conor Sweeney. Now, what was funny, what I noticed after watching the Tipperary Limerick game, it looked like Quinlivan, just as Conor Sweeney was kicking that sideline, Mickey Quinlivan looked like he was down with a serious injury. He looked like a guy that was in a lot of pain. If he's missing, I'm not going to, like, he would be a substantial loss to Tipperary. I think Quinlivan and Sweeney, they've been around, it seems, forever, even back, if you rewind 4 years to the All-Ireland semi-final when Tipperary made it, them guys caused Mayo all sorts of trouble. They're two big physical men. I think they can have a good impact on the Cork backline. But look, they have to turn up. That's the thing. Cork have more depth in their forward line to get scores and dig them out of trouble, whereas I just don't think Tip have that. If maybe Quinlivan was kept quiet, or if Sweeney was kept quiet, the two of them need to turn up together to really pose a threat to the Cork team. I think they will. They're two big game players. I don't see why not. So if Quinlivan and Sweeney, I think that could be the turn in Cork's side.
Yeah. So the fact that Cork get the home advantage for Páirc Uí Chaoimh, does it actually make that big of a difference that there is going to be no fans in Páirc Uí Chaoimh? Or will home advantage still exist in a way?
Look, I know what you mean about the fan thing. I still firmly believe home advantage is a big thing. Just even myself, anytime we had in-house games or challenge matches against other counties and there was no fans there, I always felt comfortable playing in O'Connor Park, Tullamore. I think the Cork boys will feel a bit more comfortable, especially psychologically after beating Kerry, let's say a week ago, and it'll be 2 weeks ago by the time the game's on. After beating Kerry there 2 weeks ago, they're going to have their tails up coming out. The new Páirc Uí Chaoimh is it's an amazing place to play. Like even last January when we travelled down there on January 27th for the first round of the league, we were used to playing on soft ground, so we all had soft ground boots on. When we stepped out onto the field in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, it was as hard as a rock, and it really caught us by surprise. And it's even, I seen it last weekend. When I was watching the Kerry and Cork game, you could see the boys hopping the ball and stuff. They're just going to have that bit of a, it'll give them that bit of an X factor about them, I think. It is giving them an advantage, definitely. I'd say the Tip boys would love to be playing in Semple Stadium against Cork, but that's just the way it is. They have an agreement, and it was no more than ourselves and Carlo. We had an agreement. When we meet in the league or whatever, it's home and away advantage. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference. Yeah.
Do you think the whole idea of it being a strict knockout competition, is going to make the game a lot more intense, both team, than other Munster finals or any provincial final?
Yeah. Look, I think it's evident. All the games that we've seen so far, there seems to be a bit more of a physical factor to these games. There seems to be way more tackles going in, and lads are working harder. Even looking at our own GPS statistics there at the weekend, nearly every player over 10 kilometres they'd ran. Lads are running themselves out. They're leaving it all on the line. This is knockout football. It's very serious. Every game, it could be your last. Every team wants to be training the following week. So lads are just going to empty the tanks, put their bodies on the line. Yeah, there's a different intensity about knockout football, and it is special. It's a nice championship to be a part of, or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, before we go, how are you planning, to keep fit? Because there's going to be no more football training for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so look, it's been well documented and awfully at this stage. After I got the surgery on my stomach, I was weighing 84, 83 kg, and when I got out of hospital, I was 69. So for me personally, it's about regaining weight. For the next, we probably won't have league till late February or March. So for the next 2 or 3 months, for me, regaining weight, getting back, in the gym or whatever. Look, the gyms are shut now at the minute with level 5 with the HSC guidelines. We'll have to respect that. But for me personally, I'll just have to find a way around it. I have a few weights and dumbbells at home, luckily. Offaly GAA, Michael Dignan, our chairman, and them have been very good in the past. They did give out gear to the players, as I mean gym gear and equipment, weights and benches and barbells. So maybe something like that will happen again. Players will. It's a 12-month thing now. All of the Offaly lads, I can bet my bottom dollar on it. Will keep in shape. I know I can be assured the Offaly strength and conditioning team. Dermot Sheridan is our S&C coach, and his intern Jack Tierney and our physio Alex Horgan. They'll keep us in top nick over the next 2 or 3 months. I suppose, look, the thing is, you'll be regrouping in 6 or 7 weeks' time as soon as the new year comes. We'll all be getting different programs. Lads look after their diets now and stuff too. So I won't be worried about when we get back. We'll be, as I said, it's a 12-month thing. We'll be as conditioned as ever, and we'll be ready to hit the ground running then when the league does come in February or March.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much.